Good morning! I have some things written on my phone. I'm gonna use technologies to read something for you today. Let's start with this quote. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kybalion. Talking about courage, there would be no courage if there would be no fear. I was contemplating on it as it being like the same stick who has two ends. And all the actions that I did, which is seen as some courageous acts. First, it was fear. And what it takes first to acknowledge the fear, because acknowledging the fear allows you to overcome it. And this is how all the journey started for me. As I was born in a small place, in a small town in Lithuania, and I felt from the young days that this is not my life. I feel either I lived already on this earth, I felt like an old child thinking that I can't spend all my life in potato field. I need to go. So first it was first courage demonstrated itself by leaving the place of comfort, because you can never grow in a place which is very familiar sandbox. You can be the biggest fish in the small pool, but what's the point from it? I decided that only dead fishes go with the flow. I will go against the stream. So I created this game for myself about testing the limits, how far I can go if I will not try to repeat anyone else's path. And I decided to live as if my life is a movie. And I was telling it to everyone who I meet. I live as if my life is a movie. My life is a movie. I would then have this approach and start document my own life events. And I wanted it to be a movie that I would like to watch myself. And this is how I created a game. And eventually, because I had so much trust in my own game, people started to join me. One day when I'm living in Berlin, because I threw myself in an environment which I don't know in order to grow and to explore. Some movie director comes to me and says, I want to make a movie about you. I was like, I was expecting you. I was expecting you. Because I always felt there's so much adventures happening, someone should be filming. Because I made this adventure time my main job, my main activity. And what kind of courage it takes to live this way is to take responsibility for your own actions and to take responsibility for reality that you created for yourself. That creativity is liberating But the hard part also is that there's literally no one to blame, because everything is created by you. I decided to be a bridge. This post-documentary made from about traveling from Berlin to New York and then reaching Mexico is called I Am the Bridge. The bridge that connects. The bridge which connects different sides of the brains. Creativity and logic. The bridge who connects different people, different parts of the world. The bridge as the symbol opposite to the walls. The project was inspired by quite tragic and unfortunate events, which I always take as inspiration. The worse, the better. So when the politicians started to talk about walls, I understood that we as people, the only resistance that can exist and be useful is to build the bridges. If we all will be as the bridge, there will be no walls. Because first, the walls are built inside of our heads, and it is built by the bricks made of fear. When you make people to be afraid of something, they want to hide and they want to build a wall around themselves. So, in a way, all my activity is kind of reminding people that it's not necessary to hide, and that our media is as well used to perpetuate that hate and that fear. So by the action of engaging in creating my own media magic, I can leverage a little bit from all the input that it's done into today's world. I am the bridge. Death to the image, hail the new flesh. The queen of passwords, piercing digital walls, separating atoms. Thanks, nature, for being cruel, helping to think. Courage is to test your own limits. If I feel that someone can predict my next step, even myself, I turn around and walk to different opposite direction. Courage is to understand that all depends on you. Your thoughts create your reality. I see life as a series of events who consist from certain algorithms. And we construct these formulas by our thoughts and words. So our language is programming our reality. This is a lesson that I learned during my life. And this is how now I can choose what kind of thoughts I'm carrying in my head. Lots of time, half or even more life is spent learning and absorbing information from the environment, only to reach the point where you understand that basically in order to clean myself and do things my own way, I need to unlearn everything and basically, how it's called, unfuck yourself from everything and then start from new. To see the world burning and burn together and learn everything about the fire. Courage is to rise from the ashes and to see the cycles and see how all is spiraling. When you reach the top, the only way to go is to go down. And when you are at the bottom, the only way is to go up. And it's gonna continue in these kind of cycles. So it's important to have the courage to trust that in the end, everything's gonna be fine. Life leverages itself. We are atoms anonymous. We are the implants into the technologies. Run before your time is over. Boom. World War III hashtags trending. You can't run from Santa Muerte, but you can get fit trying. Lilith breaking through the walls. Ifrit brings you it all. How much you wanted, so much you got. What helped me the most is studying the philosophies of dualism, understanding the laws of polarities, that there cannot be one without another. As Lao Tzu say, if you want to eliminate the suffering in the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you can give is that of your own self-transformation. Art as the practice of self-transformation. In order to become a better version of myself, I run these programs of deep self-analysis and investigation of my own psyche and bring it out the information and findings that I have, and I make art about it and I show it to people. It is as much entertaining as it is therapeutical. None of my story are that much imaginary or from the fantasy world as you may think. As I call it, it is cryptographic illustrations. Cryptographic, something what it is hidden. And it is hidden only in the language of the symbols, in the language of the archetypes. And this is why, without even direct understanding, people can connect with it because there's something beyond what human psyche recognizes. And that is what is common for us, what we share. It is kind of Jungian understanding of the archetypes. And courage, it is to continue your work once you started, once you understood. There is no point into comparing or competing with other artists, with other people. Especially talking about artists, I never feel the competition with anyone because I say there are enough people on earth that we can help to. Because it is a mission and it is a gift and a curse to be able to see behind the veil of Isis, behind the consensus reality, and what you can do then, if not share it with others. And it is equally interesting to share information with the kings and with the children, to be able to find the way of speaking with one another, to see the life as it is, the top of the mountains and the deepest valleys. And then you can choose where you want to be. Courage is to accept and be grateful for the gifts that you bring into this life. And to stay honest and not try to lie to yourself. That takes most courage. Honestly, to answer yourself the questions, how can I be a help in this world? That is what is courage for me. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. When I give to myself. When I take from myself. And there are times when it is easier to run than walk. And I choose the hardest situations at that moment for myself, as for example, going to the countries like Mexico or Colombia without knowing the language, meeting the artists who have minimal knowledge of English, and still find a way to communicate and to collaborate and create something beautiful in conditions which are extremely hard. To find motivation to create when there's oppression, there's political restrictions, seeing the poverty around and seeing all very human, very sick, sad world things. It takes really lots of courage to invent the meaning for yourself and to believe in what you are doing, when sometimes you are the only one person who believes in it. Being able to carry a flag, to carry a banana, to carry a mask with honesty and honest belief that this is a mission which is important and which is necessary for the world. I created myself many masks. I understood that in order to free myself from the fears that I have, I am gonna create myself as a superhero character. I invented myself a superhero. I created the mask, and I said, maybe I cannot do it, but Schaltmira will do it. It's such a relief. I just give all my work to Schaltmira now. And recently watched this documentary with Jim and Andy, about going deep into the roles that you are acting and what happens when then you need to take off that mask. So today I didn't even bring it. And I'm actually happy that I didn't bring it, because that means that now I share the lessons that I learned with wearing the mask. And I can come here and stand in front of you without a mask. And I can show you the movie that I live, that I created. And it is never-ending movie. It is my own invented Schaltmira show. I said that my life is reality show, and I embrace it. I have children who are following me, who I recently visited in the small towns in Šakiai and Griškabūdės schools. If there will be some people who are giving me feedback that all these adventures and all these journeys, all these performances and all these ideas, all these movies help somebody to find the courage to get up from bed in the morning, help to dream big, then I feel that my work here is done. Thank you.